songs are slow and sad. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Welcome to the Sad Song Queens podcast, where we dive deep into the songs that make us cry. I'm Laura Webb.
And I'm Lindsay Wolfington.
We are two friends and fellow music supervisors who are obsessed with sad songs. It all started when we used to share an office and we started sharing and discussing our favorite sad songs. It began as a competition to make the other emotional. Through our work as music supervisors, we were always elated to be tasked with finding sad songs.
We found ourselves looking up the lyrics and looking online for interviews with the artist to find out the real story behind the song. But then we thought, what if we figured it out ourselves? What better way to get the story than by having authentic conversations with the creators of the songs?
Today, we will be chatting with Ashe and talking about her song, Moral of the Story. We first became familiar with Ashe's song while we were working on To All the Boys I've Loved Before, P.S. I Love You. We were tasked with finding a gut-wrenching breakup song that Laura Jean would lip-sync into the camera when she and Peter Kavinsky break up. We listened and sent over several options.
Our director, Michael Fimognari, and our producers all instantly fell in love with Ashe's song. We knew this was going to be a big moment for the film, but we couldn't fathom how much our audience would embrace the song. In the first day of the film's release, the song gained almost 450,000 streams. A week later, it was on the radio. At the time of taping this podcast, the song currently has 800 million streams on Spotify alone. Ashe and Niall Horan went on to create a duet of the song and released it, and that version also went on to become a smash hit.
We've come to know Ashe personally, and she really is just the best. So when we had the idea for this podcast, she was the first person we thought of.
The question was, which song? Because she has so many great sad ones.
Up next, we'll listen to Moral of the Story by Ashe. Stick around and we'll have the full interview afterwards.
So grab those tissues and let's get into it, because we all need a good cry.
So I never really knew you. God, I really tried to. Blindsided, addicted. Thought we could really do this, but really I was foolish. Hindsight, it's obvious. Talking with my lawyer, she said, where'd you find this guy? I said, young people fall in love with the wrong people sometimes. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. You can think that you're in love when you're really just in pain. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. In the end it's better for me, that's the moral of the story, babe. Funny how a memory turns into a bad dream when running wild turns volatile. Remember how we painted our house just like my grandparents did? So romantic, but we fought the whole time. Should have seen the signs. Well, talking with my mother, she said, where'd you find this guy? Said some people fall in love with the wrong people sometimes. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. You can think that you're in love when you're really just in pain. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. In the end it's better for me, that's the moral of the story, babe. I just need to tell you all. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. You can think that you're in love when you're really just engaged. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. In the end it's better for me, that's the moral of this story. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. You can think that you're in love when you're really just in pain. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. In the end it's better for me, that's the moral of the story, babe.
Well, Ashe, welcome to the Sad Songs podcast. We're so happy to have you.
Yay! Welcome, Ash.
Thanks for having me. I'm so honored. I love you gals.
We feel the same way about you.
So we wanted to start off because we're so many times you listen to songs and the interpretation that you have is entirely different than the artist meant it to be. So, we were listening for this big breakup song for the second To All the Boys movie, and we knew it was going to be big, and we love breakup songs anyway. So we're like, we have to find the best breakup song possible. And Laura found this song. She pitched it for our production. So Laura, what did you think this song was about when you first heard it?
Well, I obviously felt the heartbreak. I definitely thought it was definitely a sad song, clearly a breakup song, which was all the things we needed. But without knowing, which we later found out the meeting, but I thought I was just, I didn't know it was necessarily a divorce, but the lawyer part was like, I have questions. But the fact that the lawyer and the mother were like, where'd you find this guy? The curious person in me is like, what did he do?
To bring on legal ramifications.
Yeah.
I feel like this is really special for me because I don't think I knew the full story or like the behind the scenes of you discovering the song and finding it and finding the right moment for it in that movie. And that's just like, yeah, this is so special for me. Cool. Aww. Like a little window into your world. You definitely heard that it was a breakup song. It's at its core, it's a breakup song. It's just, it's a little bit more intense in that it's like the ending of a marriage. The lawyer line in particular, I was really nervous about because I was like, I knew my fan base was young and like most of these girls that probably listen to me are nowhere near even ready to be thinking about getting married. And so I was like, this feels like we're sticking our neck out in a way, like we're being really honest. And are we going to sort of like cut off some of our audience? And still to this day, people will be like, that's their favorite line of the song and somehow find a way to like connect with it, even with it being so specific. But yeah, my attorney was so cutthroat. She was like,
yes,
this guy
girl.
sucks. Where did you find him? Like that was a verbatim. My lawyer was like, where did you find this guy?
That's
so
amazing.
Sad.
Did you give her a percentage of the songwriting?
So savage. No, ma'am.
You're like,
no,
not
but
paid her enough.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm
I spent
sure.
a fortune on her anyways.
Well,
To
it's funny
lose
that
that
you
guy.
say that because, as music supervisors, like sometimes lyrics help and hurt. And sometimes being specific is not great, right? Like, and I think what I liked about this song was the chorus is some mistakes get made. It's all right. It's okay. Like, we're going to move on, right? Some people make bad choices. And the generality of that message, I really identified with.
Yeah, like we could get granular with
Yeah.
the verses because the chorus had sort of like a more overarching sort of vague theme to it.
No, I think we should. I mean, I think what I like when we are hearing so many songs and listening, the fact that your song is so authentic and that it's so real and you were speaking to your human emotion, like your actual experience that happened to you, and we can feel it, like your performance, everything. Like that's why we're like, wow, what is happening? I have to know. Just as a viewer and having your theories and all that. But yes, I would love to hear more about the verses.
Yeah, well, I mean, so what does this song mean to you? And is it even a sad song to you? Maybe it's like a triumphant song to you.
I think that it's sad that I was in the position that I was in. And I think that if I think back to that writing session when I was in the room explaining what had happened with, these two other writers that are now such good friends of mine, we were right on the heels of the divorce. I don't think it was finalized yet. I think I was still in the midst of the sort of chaos of it all. And so I'm sitting in a room with these writers and I'm just kind of like, yeah. And like, so, hey guys, here's my life update. I'm getting a divorce. And, Casey Smith, one of the writers, being like, yes. Like, unfortunately, that's awesome for us because we're going to write like a killer song about it. But I remember feeling really like liberated in the writing process. I remember thinking maybe no one ever hears this song, but right now it is required of me to put this to paper. Like these words, these melodies, record this because right now this is what's truly relevant to my world. And I think that's a special thing about when you're listening to your favorite artists. Like, oftentimes, if they're not just like, I'm out here trying to write a hit song, if they're really just recounting what's happening in their lives, it's like these songs are little snapshots of emotions and circumstances and life chaos and joy and madness and trauma. And the divorce was incredibly traumatic for me, and I was in a very toxic, miserable relationship. And so, yeah, that was a long-winded way of saying, yes, sad, but also it's all right, it's okay. It's like that's how life goes. Life is not fair, life is not easy, and the sooner you swallow that pill, the better off you are, you know?
Did you feel some like catharsis after hearing it, making it being out in the world? Do you feel
Healed.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, total catharsis. I think once I set aside, okay, that was very therapeutic to write. Once I listened to the recording back, I was like, I think this is the best thing I've ever written. Like really standing behind that and then putting it out. And for a year, that song did nothing. I mean, I don't think it even had 1 million streams on Spotify in the first year. And I remember thinking, my best song, no one cares about. Best thing I've ever done, everyone could care less. And I was fully ready to like kind of be done with music. Because
Oh.
I was just like, well, if that's the best thing I can do and no one gives a shit, then what am I doing here? Or like, I'll just keep writing, but for myself. And then y'all put that song in to all the boys. And day one, it had kicked up to like, it did like 150,000 streams in one day or something. And
It
I
did
was like,
400,000 streams in one day.
in the first day?
425, I believe. Yeah, in the first 24 hours that the film was out.
Okay, insane. Because I remember that happening and me being like, I called my manager and I was like, I think something is happening. Like, something very strange. And then like within a few days, it was streaming 1 million streams in a day. I don't know. You might have all like the actual stats or something, but
We got
We looked-
some at one time, but I don't know where it is.
Yeah, we looked in our emails and I think we got like an update like day 2, right, with what had happened in the first 24 hours. And then I remember the next week we were like, and now it's on Star 98.7 or Mix 9 or whatever it's called these days.
Oh, and I still remember it was, and we hadn't met you yet, but we're fans already. And then we just like fell in love with you more because I remember the video of you listening to your song on the radio, and it was so lovely
car.
and so authentic and so
oh, and I
sweet. And
was such
it
a
was-
baby.
no, that's the real
Totally
stuff.
cried.
And like, celebrate the
beautiful.
good. Like, there's so much shit in life. Like, celebrate the good stuff, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, and now that like I guess you kind of have context to like why that would have maybe meant even more to me, feeling so passionately about a song that's so personal, and then people saying, yes, this is great. We do love it. Okay, I was right.
Right.
This was great. And yeah, just the launch pad that y'all gave this song such an opportunity. I remember Finneas calling me because he was like, oh yeah, the moral of the story is going to be in this movie. And he obviously he was an executive producer on that song, or like added production to it. And he loves me and he's just invested. And he was like, oh, I'm going to go like check out the clip of where that song is in the movie. And he watched it, and obviously it's our girls singing the lyrics to camera. And he immediately called me and he's like, this is going to change your life.
Aww.
And I was like, awesome.
You're like, let's
Like,
go.
that'd be great, actually. I'd love for it to change. So,
Oh.
yeah, I could never thank you two enough, and so grateful for you and so grateful for the song. And
Oh.
yeah,
I mean, you made the song. We only heard its greatness and wanted to amplify it. So
it means a lot.
Let's go back to the songwriting process a little bit, because you come in, you're like, you guys, like, I'm going through this horrible thing. So did you come in with that's all right, that's okay? Or was there someone in the session who was like, you know what, let's spin this positive? Or how does a song transform from an idea to a chorus, from sadness to reflection, stuff like that?
I think I was kind of joking around a lot in the studio. Like, you know how you sort of a coping mechanism with dealing with, pain or trauma is like, and and he's a horrible person, but like you just
Yeah.
kind of are like cry laughing through it. And I remember one of the writers, she was just like transcribing everything I was saying as I was sort of processing and telling her about the lawyer and telling her about my grandparents. I was telling her the story about we were painting the outside of our house. And I remember thinking, oh, this is my grandparents told me that they did this. And yet we were fought like a horrible fight. And I was like, gosh, we took this, what was supposed to be a really beautiful memory, and just like ripped it to shreds. And I was like, wow. So I was telling her that, and she was transcribing. And I think at some point it said, well, the moral of the story is that you make choices that are maybe sometimes not the right choice for you. And that's all right. And we move on and we're better for it. And I think she was like, oh my God, moral of the story is such a good like little tagline to end on. And I'm pretty sure Casey Smith, she was the one who found in the end, it's better for me. That's the moral of the story. And we
So
were
good.
like, well, there's the song. That's
Aw.
it.
Had you written with Casey Smith and Noah Conrad before? Was this one of the first sessions, or?
This was my first session with Noah, which, as y'all know, Noah would go on to produce the second song that I did with y'all in the
same,
next
yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Also a tearjerker.
Yeah, we're like, want to come
Yeah.
in and write for this really sad moment?
Well, which was so cool because we actually got to like watch it. That was
Yeah.
such a special experience. So Noah and I went on to work with each other a bunch. That was our first time
Wow.
initially. And I think Casey and I had written a handful of times. And I remember my first session with her asking me about my husband and our relationship. And she's like a digger. She's like, give me fuel for a song. And I remember telling her that he doesn't make me laugh. I never laugh.
And that was before
And
the divorce?
that was before the divorce.
Okay.
And that was like, that is the tiniest, least important reason why I had to leave, you know?
Sure.
But I just remember her being like, I can't imagine being with someone who doesn't make me laugh. And it was the first time I had heard someone else be like, you probably don't belong with each other. It's like, oh no. But so I don't know. When I went into that session with her and I was like, okay, I'm getting a divorce, she was probably like, whoa.
Are all your subsequent relationships, did they make you laugh now? Was that like a requirement going into new relationships?
Oh, that's such a good question. I've never had it on the list, but yes, like I recently just got engaged.
Woo!
And
Woo!
she's so pretty.
So excited.
Aw.
I'm so happy. I just got back from touring a wedding venue this morning.
Amazing.
But yeah, he cracks me up. He's a absolute goofball, and I mean, just like accents and made up languages and jokester, and yeah, he cracks me up. And it's
All right,
such
we clearly need to meet him.
Yeah, you do. I know. Y'all have to
And
go
our
to
second
Nashville.
podcast guest
Yeah.
on the
Mhm.
happiest song queens. No, just kidding.
The in love songs. I don't know.
I know. His
Love
band,
songs.
I will say his band writes some really sad songs if you need more. So
Always.
Ooh, what's his band? Shout out.
his band is The Broken the Bluff. Shout out.
So back to the sadness.
Yeah, let's not talk about happy stuff. That's not why
know.
we're
No,
here.
right? No, it's the balance of life, right? The
Yeah.
sadness and the
Yeah.
joy, and you realize the other because you've experienced one.
Whoa, that was like accidentally so deep.
So profound. That's what we're here for. We actually worked on a different movie where we had a director specifically say, I want to reflect both the joy and sadness of life. And we were like, oh my God, we love this. We're like, here's our saddest song. And here's like a song that makes us really happy. And they ended up in the film.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I
Anyway.
love that.
yeah. So I didn't make it up.
I selfishly need like a playlist from you too.
Ooh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like you would have such good playlists.
we can hook it up.
Some Laura Lindsay mixtapes.
Oh,
you
we
know.
can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you did it too, but yeah, I mean, that was all our friends would always ask us before we ever did this job. Can you make me a playlist? Or, back in the day, mixtape. So
Or you voluntarily made one for them, whether they wanted it or not.
I know. Well, yes, eventually, but then they would be like, I want that again. And you're like, sure.
Did y'all used to do like the old, like on an
Oh,
actual
yeah.
CD and Sharpie, like mixtape one?
Cassette tape every semester in college I made and I copied it. I repeated it at least like 5 times because there were about 5 of us in the friend group who needed a copy.
And recording off the radio, like live.
Yeah, I worked at the
my
radio
gosh.
station at the time, so I went CD to tape. But yeah, the
Yeah.
cassettes, I still have them. And they all had like
Oh.
a special name. And you would just, like the most honored spot was the first song of side 2.
Oh.
I don't know. That's what I did. What did you do?
Mine was always like number 3.
Okay.
Like get into it and then, like
The
you got to do
first
energy.
song of side
Side.
2.
Yes.
That is so cool.
If you knew you wanted to listen, like you were, I don't know how much you listen to cassettes, but right, like if
Not
you really,
often.
like
Yeah.
if you wanted to hear the song, it was easier to find, right? If it was like the first song on either side. So, so it was also like, then you could just rewind and get to it. And you were also like, if you were sick of side 1, you were like, yeah, side 2, like I don't know. Anyway, we can, that's a
love
whole
that
other podcast.
so much. Did you have like a Walkman
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
and everything?
Did you?
I think we should bring Walkmans back. I was
agree.
in the CD era.
Yeah.
Cassettes were pretty much on their way out when I was entering the scene of listening, or like where I could buy my own, music to listen to. But I had one of the CD Walkmans, and it would like just be constantly skipping because
Totally.
it was like good every
Like,
step.
how is that an improvement?
I know.
Right?
And bigger, too.
And in your
like-
car, like every speed bump, you're like, wait, the Fuji is like.
Oh, yeah,
just
because you would
got
plug it
interrupted.
into the cigarette lighter. and,
Yes,
like-
exactly.
Wilson is the name of the album. You graciously sent it to us ahead of time, and it is beautiful. And there's so many songs, and I want to sit with it more. But the one that popped out to me the most, which I had told you, is I Want to Love You, But I Don't. Another sad song, but it's so, so good. And I purposely didn't read what you wrote on Instagram, but you did, right, Lindsay?
Yeah, I saw you like post like new song, and I won't
Yeah.
kind of saying what it was about.
Because I thought it was about leaving one romantic relationship and going into a new one who's your fiance.
Mhm.
But I guess there's another meaning to it. If you want to dive in and tell us.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is like the epitome of a sad song for me because it's not even about losing someone else, but like losing yourself. And for me, this song was like a letter to self of I just was in a place where I really didn't like who I was or who I felt I had become. I had a really distorted view of myself. I had so told the world how confident I was, how authentic and real I am, and I would be preaching love yourself. And meanwhile, I was going through this period of time that I was just there was so much like self-loathing going on underneath the surface that I didn't even like really know was there until I did this like exercise where my therapist had me like write a letter from like Ashlyn, the human, the writer, girl, to Ashe, the artist, performer, public, person. And then I wrote a letter vice versa from Ashe to Ashlyn, and they were so savage, like so mean, scathing report of self, just on both sides. Like Ashlyn to Ashe was like, all you care about is attention, and you abuse my vulnerability to leverage it into like popularity and blah blah blah. And Ashe is like, I'm so underappreciated, I work my ass off, and you have that beautiful home because of me. You all these things, rattled off this list of the reasons why you have the life you have, and you don't appreciate me. And I just had no idea I hated myself. And so that was so therapeutic. And I Want to Love You But I Don't was the song that kind of came of those letters. And I was like, I should appreciate you. I should love you. You get one body, you get one soul, you get one mind. And I didn't want it. So grateful to not be in that place anymore. But writing that song was definitely a part of the healing journey,
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I want to go back. I will definitely go back and listen with that perspective. Do you is verse 1 Ashlyn to Ashe and verse 2 is Ashe to Ashlyn, or it's all of it?
It's pretty intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sort of singing about being in this like grand ballroom and all these people around me, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, you're so stuck with yourself. And it was like the lyrics, like, I'm naked on the dance floor next to you. Like, wherever I go, I can't get away from you. So yeah, it's kind of intertwined all over that song. And, at the end of the day, I wanted other people to be able to relate to it. So, I'm not like, I'm singing about myself right now, So I definitely have a level of like, there's some more vague.
Like, let's go broad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
that's what's so great too, because I mean, I on the level was like, because that's heartbreaking too. And if you're in a relationship you're not supposed to be in, and you know that it's not serving them or yourself, like to walk away is still so hard. So on the surface, or just that's where I went with it. But I love hearing that, and I know you're right. It's like we are so harsh to ourselves, right? And it's so hard. I think women too, like to unprogram or deprogram that. Yeah, I know. Because we look at other people, and especially like with social media, oh, these people are they're killing it. And like we all are walking around with, these feelings and thoughts and imposter syndrome and, all that. But I'm glad that you had that exercise and like got on the other side of it. I mean, what were some of the other things that helped you get through that?
I canceled the tour, and because I felt like I had no business being a role model or an example or a public person when I was in that frame of mind. I was like, I don't want to rub off on a soul because I'm not okay. So I knew that I needed to sort of hide away and get right before I was processing it and writing about it. And I think some big things is like just separating myself from my whole identity was my career, especially after, moral of the story, from that moment on, from the moment it was in that movie on, my career was whirlwind. And it was incredible. I tell people it's so fun to be successful. It really is. But there's a lot that is attached to it. And if you're not prepared or you don't have a really good therapist, things can get sort of confusing and out of control. And so just separating myself from my career for a little bit, and like, you are not your job.
Right.
I love what I do. So much of the world sees me through a lens of like, that's a music artist. And so you start seeing yourself through their lens instead of like, I'm a daughter, I'm a, you know, fiance, I'm a friend, I'm a sister. For a while, none of that counted, and all I was a music artist. And that was I just needed to find proper boundaries with that. And I gardened and I bought power tools. I'm really good with power tools.
Ooh, come on over. I have a
Wow.
lot to be done in my house.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you make?
Happy to. I made like this stool in my basement because my laundry is in my basement. And so but it's like really tall. So I have to like step on like a little ladder to get into my laundry machines. So I built like a big bench looking stool and the wainscoting, I think it's
Scouting?
called.
I don't know.
Scotting.
Scotting sounds
Um,
good.
Wainscoting, I think it is. In the bathroom, it's like these like panels you put up,
Oh, yeah.
and it makes your bathroom look fancier than it is. I did that, and yeah, my life was very domestic and separate and wonderful. And then I started writing again, and I remembered how much I loved it. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah,
Selfishly, we're glad that you're back to writing sad songs and wonderful songs.
Yes.
But I'm so obviously not to diminish what you went through and how brave that was to walk away. But we're happy that
Thanks.
we have these beautiful songs.
I think we also like,
Thanks.
by the way, you were instantly amazing. I mean, at social media, I was like, wow, she knows how to take this wave and ride it. Like I remember the day one of the To All the Boys movies came out, and I was like exhausted just from posting like one post about the soundtrack. And I was like, how do people do this multiple times a day and tag the right people and hash mark the right thing? Anyway, but I feel like hash marks
Shows you what,
exactly.
yeah.
Mom vibes,
Hash
hashtag.
mark. No, I'm gonna call them.
so
I'm
embarrassed.
calling
I
them
like
hash
it.
marks from here on out. They are
Yes.
now
At
hash.
least I didn't
hash
say
marks.
pound sign, right? But I was going to say, I think we saw you posting and posting, and then suddenly like, I'm canceling my tour. And I don't know if you feel this, Laura, but I feel like, you thank us for like helping expose the song with the use in the film. And then obviously you have this kind of meteoric rise and you're touring and performing with Niall Horan and all this stuff. And then when you're like, I need to go away for a while. I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's just so I don't feel responsible, but at the same time, it's also like such a sad side effect of having success in the music industry. I think, a lot of people just posted on social media recently that like Chapel Roan started crying at one of her shows because she was like, sorry, guys, like it's just happening so fast and it's really hard. I mean, did you call her? Like, I feel like you need to like show
like-
girl how to do some wainscoting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she has her head on pretty tight. It seems screwed on pretty well. I think it's just happening really fast. Like she didn't even have like a security guard on the tour she was on. And then like overnight things changed so fast and like suddenly she's got people, being inappropriate and she needs protection. And when things happen a little slower, you kind of are like, okay, we're probably at that point now where we should hire security to be at the shows. Whereas for her, I think out of nowhere, she was like, oh, we need security. We need the barricade. We need more separation from the stage because we're like, people are able to access me too much. People are throwing things. Yeah, it's a lot to process. I don't think everyone is cut out for it either. There are people that just own it. Like Billie Eilish is like hands down the most graceful person to handle fame and success. I mean, and I can also say like her being just a very unique, special person and the support of her family. Like her big brother has protected her as well. Like just has been. We all really need a Finneas.
Right.
And like, where's Chapel Roan's Finneas? Like, where are the people that kind of like, you definitely need people to keep you grounded. And I think that's interesting of you to say, Lindsay, but I definitely would say like, you changed my life absolutely for the better in every way possible. I think that was my journey. And the lessons that I learned even from the sort of chaotic times are irreplaceable. You know, you even think about like character is not really changed or shaped or molded by the good happy everything's great times. Character is what's molded in like the growing pains and the like really the muck and the trauma. And I look in the mirror and I'm like, that is one strong ass lady.
Yeah.
Like I
You are.
can really feel I'm really, really proud to sit here in my body. And that's like part of going through all these crazy things. And also I feel like it's important to remember, and you're the sad song queens. And so I feel like I can talk about sad things. Moral of the story, 2020, February was in the movie, took off, and September 11th, my brother died of that same year.
Of that year? Oh, God.
So not like very soon after, I had just put out the version with Niall. And I had a radio interview the next day that I couldn't cancel, or I didn't know how to cancel.
Yeah.
And I called Niall and I was like, I'm going to need you to like pretty much carry the team on this one because my brother died yesterday. And him being like, are you good? Like, are you, maybe we shouldn't. And I was like, honestly, I'm just right. My head's just right above water. Let's just do it. And, you know, there was a lot that I didn't process, like, because of that. And so
Yeah.
I put my head down and I focused on the happy part of, you know, the success, but I wasn't processing what happened with my
Right.
brother. So yeah,
Wow.
we all have our different stories, and you live and learn and grow. And wow,
Well,
got
it's
a
good
little
that
got
oh,
sad. Sorry.
No,
No,
that's
it's so
what this
real.
is we want the authentic stuff. Like, you know, we can all talk surface, but this is the real stuff. But yeah, and it's like having gone through loss myself, like in some way it's nice to have that distraction, right? But yeah, at the same time, you're not, if you don't check in with yourself and be like, how am I feeling? And I'm sure just you had all these new obligations. In some way, it's nice to not have to think about it. But then when you have your quiet moments, I'm sure it would catch up. And anyway, your body
Yeah.
tells you to. Like it can be a bitch like that.
Yeah, I think it caught up for sure. But there's no right way to sort of like mourn or grieve or so. And to like Lindsay's point about being good on social media and all that, like I saw there was a window of opportunity that was going to shut. Like I saw, regardless of brother passing away or not, I saw this window getting smaller and smaller. And I was like, you either take this time and let it be a catalyst to having a 50-year career, or you let this moment just burn out like a little firework in the sky, and then it dies. And I just wanted to turn it into a career and not just a song, you know? So yeah, I kept my head down and kept doing interviews, and it caught up for sure.
And on your following album, do you play a voicemail from him, or you write a song about hearing a voicemail from him?
Both. I wrote a song. It was called Ryan's Song, and I put a voicemail from him in at the end. I can't listen to that song. And no one from my family can listen to that song. I was like, I'm so sorry. It was really therapeutic to write, and it's a special song for fans. I'm glad they have it, but yeah, there's some ones that you just can't touch.
You need to
again.
get it out, and yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And to my favorite sad song on that album, I'm obsessed with Always. But is that related to your brother?
We thought so. We had talked. Oh, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, that song was definitely dedicated to him. And when I'd sing it on tour, I dedicated it to him every night. And when I got to like the second chorus, I just let them sing it. And I just sit there letting, a crowd of 1,500 people sing that song to me. And I just sob. Some nights I just let myself just stand there and sob. And then I'd be like, all right, get your shit together because you got to sing this high note at the end of the song.
That's what's so
Yeah.
remarkable about what you do and like how you can just buck up and do that. Like I have so much respect that you can just stand up there and do it night after night too. And like it's your heartbreak, you know, and like it's really admirable.
Thanks. I think it's also part of the reason why I can't do it as much as I did it before. I
And it's
think
great
like
you know that, you know?
yeah, like 70 I know now for me 70 shows is probably too many in a year.
Yeah, that sounds like a million to me.
Oh, and for the way I do the show, you know, I think I put if I'm going to do it in the way that I do it, which is very, here's my soul, and we're going to cry together and we're going to laugh together. And if I do it in that way, which I think is special, I can't do it as many times, you know, in a row. But I don't know. I'll have to learn a new balance, you know, because
Yeah.
I miss it a lot. So
Yeah. And do what serves you and what's right for you, you know, like, and I think people will embrace that. And your fans, you know, you're so open about it. So it's like we all need to be better
thanks.
about.
And I know you can't see in here, but like the past 5 minutes of our conversation, I've had like the hairs up on my arm,
I know, I'm
chills,
like
which
trying
is,
not to cry, like
so
full on.
real. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if you can see the tears that I've like welled up several times, but
Well,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
when you're feeling like that, I mean, as a songwriter and also as a human, so when you're feeling sad, do you turn to music? Or do you write music? Like, how do you deal with sadness?
I think that for me, I feel, I don't know if it's like because I'm a music artist or creative, but if I let myself feel deeply and go down a sad song rabbit hole, it will like, it could full on lead to depression. I know that about myself. So when I hear people talk about like, I'm feeling sad today and I'm going to put on a playlist of sad songs, I'm like, that'll swallow me if I let it. I can, if I'm doing okay, I can like put on Joni Mitchell, Both Sides Now, and like let myself reminisce about the times I felt sad. But no, I typically, if I'm not in a good spot, I'm either listening to nothing or I'm like at the piano just playing. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys do? Do you go down the rabbit hole and like just like soak in the sad songs?
Yeah, I do. And I'll just have moments like usually, I don't know, like the end of the working day. And I just feel like, you know, my brain's swimming. And then I don't know, I like the melancholy. And I have, you know, of course I have a list of those and I'll just listen. And then it makes me think of another one. But also like sad movies when you just like need to cry and just have that like almost loss of control. Cause in some ways you're like, oh, I got that release, you know, but.
I feel like I haven't done it as much recently just because the life is so busy. But I used when my cats died in high school, and I laugh because I went to boarding school and my roommate at the time always makes fun of. She'd be like heading back to our room and would hear Tracy Chapman The Promise or Bruce Springsteen's Secret Garden and be like, "Oh God, she's looking at pictures of her cats and crying again." But I like did it purposely because I was like, "Oh, I need to get this out." Like I loved watching sad movies to like get it out. Like it was therapy to me. And they
Wow.
say like I think there's psychological research that because I have a teenager now, and they say that listening to a song that matches your mood helps you move through that emotion faster.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you're like you don't quite find it that way because you're like, whoa, faster but deeper, right?
I wonder if for me, though, it's coming from a place of fear. I think I'm afraid that, kind of like I said, it'll swallow me whole. Like, if I have a aunt who lost her son and she's like, I can't start crying because if I start crying, I'll never stop. I think what you're doing is healthy, and I should probably find a way to do that because I think it is more coming from a place of fear. Like if I go down that rabbit hole, I'll be stuck there forever, which I don't think is true. I think probably it, like you just said, like it scientifically can help you move through the emotion, which, yeah, so maybe this is a good chat for me and I should lean in a little bit.
I mean, I sometimes like I don't want to say schedule it. There's just times when someone's like, "Oh, like right after I lost my dad, like some people would be like, don't watch that right now kind of thing. Like friends who knew and then be like, but I do because I like to be sad. Like I don't want to ignore it. And so I would be like, okay, now I'm in a place like on a weekend where I didn't have to like, go be in a meeting or something like that or before a review, like an interview. But then I'd have that and like, or there's this, actually you might really like it. Anderson Cooper has this podcast called All That There Is, and it's all about how we don't talk about grief. So, like it's a kind of taboo and it's a weird thing, but like literally every single person goes through it. But every time I listened to it, would be on the weekend and I would just like, but it was good because it was like, right, we're talking about it. But I would have to like program when I'd listen to that. And I still have his season 2. There's still a couple episodes, but I'm like, I got to be in the space for it.
Well, because otherwise it'll like kind of just come out in like the steam will just like, it'll like out of nowhere you'll be in a meeting and you're like, why am I crying in the middle of this meeting?
Yeah.
You know?
And that still happens, but.
Right. Sometimes it's unavoidable for sure.
Yeah.
But
just kind of beginning to wrap up and like not scientifically, but like, do you think they're like, why do these songs that we've been talking about today, why do they make us sad? Or they're like, do you think there's like a formula of chords that hit us in a certain place? I do think sometimes it's like a performance, like we can hear when you're going like hard on the I'm okay on the moral of the story, you can feel that like release from you. What do you think makes a song sad?
Well, I feel like it's just like an existential question. I don't know that I have a one simple sort of clean answer. There are, minor chords are called that for a reason. You can kind of like lean in, or like, I don't know if you've ever listened to Elliott Smith. If you want to get real sad, it's actually, my brother showed me Elliott Smith forever ago. And so like, that'll ruin me. Yeah, they're like, it's slow. It's these like intimate little sad guitar chords and you can it's strange. It's like the music itself embodies this emotion. What probably is resonating is like what the person is truly feeling in that moment. I recorded the lead vocal of Moral of the Story the day we wrote the song. Like I went back and we added harmonies and we added more layers and doubled some vocals and things like that. But the vocal that you hear as the lead is the vocal that was experiencing all those emotions of writing that song that day, which I always think is really, really important. Not every artist works this way. I've always thought it was really important to try, if the song is done, record the lead vocal the day you write the song. Because I think it really does kind of capture what headspace you're in. Because you can sing something, the same words and the same melody over and over and over again, but where you're at mentally, physically, spiritually does really seep into what's recorded. I don't know if you've ever heard a song that is trying to be sad, but it's like not believable.
Yep.
And I've listened to some artists that, I don't know, I'm just like, I don't believe you.
Right.
And I think it's really, that's important. It's important to be authentic to where you're at. And if you're not sad, don't sing a sad song. You can wait or be a really good actress. I'm a terrible actress. So,
I bet we could put you in front of a camera and prove it otherwise. But,
I don't think so. When you're like a little kid and you're staying up later than your parents want you to, and then like they come into the room and you pretend you're asleep. Like my mom would come into the room and I'd just be like, like I'd start like giggling. Like I can't lie to save my life. And I feel like good actors are good liars, maybe. But I don't know. Is that controversial?
No, I think it's amazing to not be a good liar. So that's awesome.
Yes, I've been told I should not play poker. Like I can't. So we should not play poker together. I don't play poker either, but
I'd like to watch that actually. It would be very entertaining.
Yeah, why do I feel like Lindsay's probably so good at poker?
Oh no, does that mean you think I'm a liar?
No, I just feel like you can be like stern. You could like focus.
You put the professor stuff on sometimes.
Okay, I do teach. So
yeah, I don't.
Interesting.
Think
I was almost like, I kind of feel the opposite. Like I do not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like if we're on Zooms with each other, you can kind of tell how I feel, no?
Yeah, but I know.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Well, yeah, but you're like your sisters.
Yeah,
Kinda.
right.
We are.
I was finishing
Yeah.
her sentences earlier.
I know. I'll be like, I know.
Yeah, that's cute. That's why a podcast works.
All right, you want to ask Ashe the $1 million question?
I think you answered it before, but what is your favorite sad song?
Oh, did I say? I said Joni Mitchell. Both sides know. That's probably, I mean, that's definitely a huge one, which it's not even like on the nose sad, but that song will make me cry. The other one I was thinking of was So Far Away by Carole King. Just doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore. I like if I'm not well and I put that song on, I can just sob. Because why doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore?
I know.
Why do we all have to have these crazy on the go, moving all the time lives? Like, can we just cuddle and stay in one spot?
That's true. Why is that sad for you? Because part of me is like, Laura loves traveling. So maybe that's not sad to you. To her.
Right.
True.
Right. It's all
Curious.
personal, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I don't know, being far away from the one you love.
Right.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do love to travel. Maybe they're traveling with the person that they love. Or,
That's right.
I don't know. But for someone who like tours,
Yeah.
I should be more comfortable with leaving home. I love being home.
I'm with you. I also think that's like a product of getting older. Like you're like, wow, my couch is so awesome. And my bed.
And the pandemic like kind of allowed us all to be like, right, let's get off the rat race. Like, well, thank you so much for joining us. Like, we are so happy you wanted to be a part, and we think the world of you. And thank you for having this space with us, holding this space with us. And it just makes us all feel closer. And
We got through it without real tears.
yeah, they were definitely misty.
We got verklumped.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, yeah. I got verklempt for sure. I'd be interested to know how many episodes you do. If you were kind of tearing up every episode, that would be kind of awesome.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
right?
That would be cool.
Thank you so much. It means the world to me. And obviously, you know that you two had and have such an impact in my life, and so grateful for you. And yeah, I'm honored that you thought of me for this. And
First
yeah, maybe
person
it'll
that-
be impactful for someone else to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being your awesome, authentic self, and keep on writing those sad songs because we are here to listen to them. And now, I Want to Love You, But I Don't by Ashe.
All dressed up, I see you look so beautiful tonight. The crystal chandelier was shining blue. Hidden faces smile in the masquerade, but I'm naked on the dance floor next to you. You'll remember me just like a wet dream. Oh, how we danced all night together. And I'll remember you under the pale moon. I thought it'd light us up forever. I wanna love you, but I don't. I think that something went wrong. Now I don't know where I belong anymore. And I should leave you, but I won't. I've forgotten how to get back, but I remember what we had. The party's over and I know I should go. I wanna love you, but I don't. Just like a cashmere sweater on a dark December day, you were laying softly on my chest, and I was someone special whenever I caught your gaze. Now I'm struggling to catch my breath. You remember me just like a bad dream, but baby, we look so good together. And I'll remember you like you were brand new. I thought you'd stay that way forever. I wanna love you, but I don't. I think that something went wrong. we danced all night together. And I'll remember you under the pale moon. It was too good to last forever. I wanna love you, but I don't. I think I've always kinda known. I wanna love you, but I don't. I think that something went wrong. Now I don't know where I belong anymore. And I should leave you, but I won't. I've forgotten how to get back, but I remember what we had. The party's over and I know I should go. I wanna love you, but I don't. I wanna love you, but I don't. I wanna love you, but I don't.
Thank you for joining us today on Sad Song Queens podcast, because you always need a good cry.
We will link these songs in our show page, but please go listen to them.
We want to thank the Songwriting School of Los Angeles for letting us record live in their studio.
Huge thanks to Ashe, Sean Patrick Sheehan, Finneas O'Connell, Danny Rookison, Brandon Goodman, Noah Conrad, and Casey Smith. Our friends at Cobalt, Downtown, and Round Hill. Special production thanks to Rob Seals, Rishikesh Hirway, Charles Levan, Miles Bergsma, Kathleen Smith, and our researcher, Emily Cartham.
Theme song by Weezer, All My Favorite Songs, and outro music by Wyatt Rouse.
Hi, it's Lindsay from the Sad Song Queens podcast. You may have heard us allude to Rob or thank Rob Seals and the Songwriting School of Los Angeles at the end of our podcast. He has been so kind to let us record in his studio, and the Songwriting School is an awesome place. If you want to learn how to songwrite, record, or even information how to release or sync your song, there's a class for that.
The Songwriting School of Los Angeles is devoted to the artistry and industry of songs. To learn more, go to thesongwritingschool.com, where you can learn more or enroll in classes.